The NFL draft was over. The cameras were off. The last pick was made. Crowds had already turned their eyes to summer, to training camps, to what's next. But while the world moved on, something very different was unfolding in Chicago. A phone call was made, one that didn't shake the sports world. Not yet. But maybe it should have. Because this wasn't just any name being dialed. This wasn't some generic invite to camp. This was a strike, a precise move, a decision that, if we're being honest, wasn't meant to make headlines. Yet, that call was to a man named Xavier Carlton, a name most people don't know, a name that doesn't come with bright lights or a flashy draft announcement. But that's exactly what makes this story worth telling. Because hidden behind the silence, the shadows, the low expectations, lies a storm. And the Bears, they saw it coming. While 32 teams let him slide, round after round after round, while every GM passed, while every scouting department double-checked their boards and still said no thanks, Ryan Poles said yes. And maybe that says more about the Chicago Bears than anything else this offseason. Because while fans were watching highlight reels of Caleb Williams and gushing over Rome Odunze, something else was happening inside Halas Hall. Something calculated. Something dangerous. And it started with a 6'6", 270-pound edge rusher out of California with arms like tree branches, hands like concrete blocks, and a pass that no one in the NFL seemed ready to deal with. And you have to wonder, why? Why was someone like Carlton passed over? Because if you're going by size, he checks every box. If you're going by raw strength, check. Run defense IQ? Check. Discipline at the line? Check. So what happened? Why did he vanish in the eyes of the NFL only to suddenly reappear in Chicago, of all places? The moment the draft ended? The answer? It's not that he vanished. It's that teams looked at him and didn't know what to do. You see, Xavier Carlton doesn't fit the mold. He doesn't give you that clean, simple evaluation. He's a riddle, a hybrid, a player who doesn't look like today's lean edge rusher, but also doesn't quite fit the mold of a traditional power end. Instead, he floats somewhere in between. He's a mismatch, a ghost in the trenches, the kind of player who forces coaches to think and forces offensive linemen to react late. And in Dennis Allen's system, that's a weapon. Because Allen doesn't run a basic front. He doesn't want plug-and-play clones. He wants chaos. Controlled, intelligent chaos. And Xavier Carlton is exactly the kind of piece that lets you break protection schemes, confuse blocking assignments, and set the edge with bad intentions. He's not just a football player. He's a schematic threat. A 270-pound question mark that offensive coordinators can't answer without pulling out a whiteboard. And here's the best part. He's just getting started. The tape from Cal? It's full of flashes. Not perfection, not polish, but flashes. Moments where you see the ceiling, where you feel it, where he bursts through a double team like it's nothing, where he anchors the edge against a pulling guard and buries the run before it begins, where he disengages with one violent punch and crashes the line from the blind side. These moments aren't just good reps, they're signals. Signals of what could come next. If someone puts the right key in the right lock. And the Bears, they just might have that key. Because if you follow the trail, from Ryan Poles' roster decisions, to the free agent edges he's brought in, to the specific prototypes he's favored, you see a pattern. He's building a wall of giants. And Carlton fits right in. Go ahead, look at the depth chart. Montez Sweat, 6'6". Dio, 6'6". Austin Booker, 6'6". Dominique Robinson, 6'5". Now add Carlton's 6'6", 270-plus pound frame to the mix. This isn't just a coincidence. It's a theme, a plan, an identity. But here's what takes it to another level. While those other guys were drafted, praised, highlighted, Carlton slipped through the cracks. And sometimes, those are the guys you have to fear the most. The ones with a chip on their shoulder. The ones who come in with no spotlight, but all the smoke. The ones who remember every team that looked past them. The ones who train different, who hit harder, who play like it's personal. Because for Carlton, it is personal. He knows he should have been drafted. He knows scouts had him pegged as a mid-round talent. He knows analysts had him circled as a developmental day 3 gem. And yet, name after name was called, and his phone never rang. Until Chicago. And now, he's got something to prove. But not with words. With violence. With reps. With trench warfare. And that's what Dennis Allen wants. That's what this Bears team needs. Because this defense is evolving. This locker room is hungry. And when a guy like Xavier Carlton walks in, quiet, massive, focused, veterans take notice. Rookies fall in line. Coaches raise their eyebrows. Because you can't fake that kind of presence. You either have it or you don't. And Carlton? Oh, he's got it. You can see it in his stance. You can hear it in the way he talks about film. You can feel it in the way he engages on every snap. And you want to talk measurables? Fine. 34.5-inch arms, 10.5-inch hands, 4.8440. Bench press? A little under, sure. But mass that big rarely needs finesse strength. What matters is that he brings collision, every single play. And here's where it gets even more interesting. The Bears didn't wait around to sign him. They didn't see who was left after the draft. They called immediately, within minutes. That's not a courtesy move. That's a priority move. That means they saw him as someone who was overlooked, not undervalued. And when you look at the Bears' run defense last year, when you remember how things fell apart when Andrew Billings went down, when the edge became soft, the contain broke down, and the big gains started piling up, you understand why someone like Carlton becomes essential. Because he doesn't gamble. He doesn't fly upfield looking for glory. He plays the run with discipline, with patience, with weight. He locks out, reads, disengages, and finishes. And that's what makes him deadly. Because if he never becomes a dominant pass rusher, that's fine. He can still carve out a career, a long one, by being a tone setter against the run. But if, and this is the big if Dennis Allen gets even a little bit more juice out of his pass rush tools, if he tightens up his bend, sharpens his counter, and adds even a basic inside move, then it's over. Then you've got a complete edge defender that no one saw coming. And those are the most dangerous kinds. So here's what I want you to do. When training camp starts, don't just watch the stars. Don't just focus on Caleb or DJ Moore or Montez Sweat. Watch the edges. Watch the drills.